in your spine, in your breath. Not in a mechanical way, but in an intimate way. To be present, to be at home in yourself. To be rooted in yourself, to be grounded, to be at ease. We'll begin chanting Om together one time. Inhale deeply. It is not possible to know something. For example, water. Do I really understand? Do I know what is water? The H2O and the hydrogen, do I understand how the molecules are coming together and the water? The properties of water, the water is a mystery. I'm drinking water every day. I'm told that my body is mostly water. But do I really know water? I have some information about water, but information is not knowing. So the water is a mystery. What about myself, my body? I say, I am this body. Do I know this body? Right? If I'm honest, I have no idea what's going on right now in this moment, in my leg, for example. I might have some abstract ideas that there's a bone here and some blood here or something, but actually what's happening in this moment, the reality of my body, the experience of my body, is a complete mystery. I have no idea what's going on. And this one I call myself. So, also peace or flower. All of these are abstract concepts in the mind. So knowing is not through information, but knowing is through a depth of being, a depth of presence. You enter into communion with that object, that person, and through being, then a kind of deeper knowing flows spontaneously. And so this is how to be yourself. To know yourself means to be yourself. To be yourself means without any planning, spontaneous, natural. So we have to practice how to be natural. Because in our modern life, we've been taught how to pose, how to please others, how to ignore ourselves, how to neglect ourselves. We're very good at that. Everybody's very good at doing those things. So we don't need any more practice. We don't need practice to judge ourselves and everything. What we need is practice to be present, practice with presence. And the good news is it's rather simple. And it's delicious to be present. And so, in order to be present, you have to shift the calibration of your nervous system and your breathing. This is the most basic, this is the fundamental, like changing gears in the car or changing the speed on the blender. You have to change the speed, like changing the dial on the radio. When you change the dial on the radio, it's immediate. The effect is immediate. Where does the old channel go? It's gone. Immediately. So whatever story, whatever identity, whatever you're stuck in, you have to work at a deeper level, not trying to replace thoughts with other thoughts, but go to the level of vibration and tune at that level. It's at the deep level that you experience peace, love, wisdom, not on the surface level. So train yourself, train to be at the deep level. Sounds good, right? If it's possible, sounds good. Okay, on the surface of the ocean are the waves, right? So go beneath the surface. All the thoughts are only on the surface of your mind. The thoughts that are disturbing you, don't even touch anyone else. Your memories, your fears about the future, they're uniquely yours and yours only. Even the people you're living with, they have their own set, full set. Everybody has a full set that goes on expanding infinitely. And so, the question is, where is the goal of life? Where is the purpose of life? Is it over there? Right? Is it over there means tomorrow, when I fix this and change this, etc., somehow by forcing myself and really trying hard, then at some point it will be enough. That we have to consider, because this is the path everyone's on. That we just have to grind and bear it and keep pushing, because right now is not enough. Not good enough, not beautiful enough, not money enough, whatever it is. It's completely, it's not enough. Now is not enough. But through effort and striving and everything, eventually it will be enough. Over there. Right, over there is really safe, because you can say anything about over there. You can make up anything you want about the past and about the future. So we rename that once upon a time. Everything is once upon a time. All the good times and the bad times, once upon a time. Also, this idea that of success or arriving, achieving, also once upon a time, because it's always over there. Success is always over there. At the top of the next peak of the next whatever. So for whatever reason, it's never here and now. So we have to investigate very, very carefully, very clearly. If your whole life you're pursuing something, but you're going in the wrong direction, you're looking for something in the wrong place where it can never be, right? That would be silly. That would be a shame. We make fun of people that play the lottery. There are people that spend so much money every day playing the lottery at the casino, but their odds are better than ours. Right? The odds of winning the lottery better than achieving the impossible. So if the goal is not over there, then it's here. Here is manageable. Over there is tricky. But here we can train, we can learn how to navigate. And then if the goal is here, then finally we can arrive. Breathe, to let go, to laugh a little, smile a little. Otherwise, it's a very serious endeavor. You have to keep going, huffing and puffing, don't stop, sacrifice everything, because the goal is over there. So at all costs, we have to get there. Right? That's the other approach. But again, has anyone made it? And I'm not saying like, yeah, some people have built a successful company, but their personal life, their health is falling apart, their family life is falling apart. So we're not talking about that. Yeah, some people get really famous and rich, right? But they're, fraught with depression and anxiety, and have no real friendship, and feel trapped in a prison of their creation. So that doesn't count. And ironically, it would seem that the most successful people are the most miserable. I don't know. We don't need to compare degrees of miserableness. But because everything we sacrifice for that thing, and then you get it, and it's not enough. So, but the good news is that it's already enough. This present moment is enough. Life is happening here. And so, simply by recalibrating, retuning your system, you can start operating on the wisdom of here and now. Different operating system. The operating system of then and there is a different system, different priorities, different rhythm, different way of moving, different way of being in your body, different way of relating to space and time when the goal is over there. But when the goal is here, if your lover is over there, how will you act? But when your lover is here, imagine. That's what I mean by present moment. It's not like some like a boring, like a class in high school or like a sports game. This is the most wild, passionate adventure, romance, to be in this love of life, to be in the love affair with life. So the present moment is like this, is exhilarating, is raw, is fresh, is alive. This is the key, alive. Nowadays, we're surrounded by obsolete objects that are they're already broken before we get them. And so somehow we see our reflection in those obsolete, broken objects. We consider ourselves like an object instead of like a living garden. But we are different from the objects in that we are alive. And alive means that every moment that we're being born, every moment we're dying. And so that aliveness is the key. Nowadays we have a terrible misunderstanding about what is health. We think that health means absence of illness. And so people talk about mental health. What do they mean? What are they talking about? They're not talking about mental illness. When we talk about physical health, it means I'm not sick, so I must be healthy. But actually, it's not true. Health is the presence of aliveness, the overflowing aliveness in your cells and glands and blood and organs and brain and breath, in your voice, in your heart, in your eyes. Right? And that aliveness expresses itself not only as like a richness, a depth, but that aliveness expresses itself as creativity, as kindness, as letting go and forgiveness, as service, serving others. Right? That aliveness expresses itself in a kind of deeper patience and the playfulness. And that aliveness is what we need. We don't need this bullshit health story. Anyway, I think across the board, everyone is unhealthy. We're all unhealthy. Because toxic life, no sleep, shitty food, everybody's stressed and pissed off and lost. And the media is terrible. Terrible. Whoa. So, that's why, no matter how sick a plant is, even it's all shriveled up and it looks like it's dead. If it's not dead, if it's dead, then the next time. But if it's not dead and you start to water it and give it love, the plant will grow itself back, the whole freaking thing. You can cut the tree, the trunk of the tree, the whole tree will grow itself back, totally. When you give the love. What is love? Water, air, sunlight. So when you give the necessary gardening, the nourishment that's needed by your body, heart, and mind, then no matter what state it's in, shriveled up or this or that, for how long, doesn't even matter, it will automatically, the aliveness, which is omnipresent in every single molecule of your being, and in everything around you, that aliveness knows what to do. That aliveness will take over and it will handle the thing. It will do what it needs to do, which is what it's doing in everything, everywhere, all the time. So we're simply allowing the aliveness, the intelligence which is in the aliveness to express itself through us. So it's not a knowing. The aliveness knows. That aliveness inside the seed, is the seed know what to do? Does the plant know what to do? No, it's a organic flow of life, which is governed by the superintelligence of this aliveness. So it's not a knowing like a thinking and a planning. The plant is not planning, ooh, has that frost happened yet? Should I do the roots now? Oh my God, maybe I did roots yesterday. Maybe I'll do leaves today or something. Right? The plant is just fully in the flow, in the zone. The intelligence and aliveness expressing itself through the plant. So that same intelligence and aliveness is expressing itself through you. We know mostly we're just getting in the way. It's just ego and pride and everything. So that's why it's so important to cultivate this active state of not knowing. Not knowing actually isn't like a stupid, like hiding your head in the dirt. Not knowing is like you have your hand in the cookie jar and you're holding on to the cookie and you won't let go of the cookie, right? And so now you're stuck and you can't pick up anything else, right? You're holding on to the one thing, you can't pick up anything else. So if you let go of everything, then you're free and you have everything. It's not by having one thing, then you have nothing. When you have nothing, then you have everything. So the mind in a pure state, then that superintelligence can work through you, can flow through you. So we have to cultivate the state of no mind. It's like when you have a gun, you keep it in the holster, and then you have to take it out and shoot it. So put the gun back in the holster, right? Put your mind back in the arrows back in the sheath. You cultivate this state of stepping back. And then life is natural. The water, you pour the water will flow to the ocean. The water knows how to go. If it can't go this way, it'll go the other way. Life is obeying, it's the inherent laws of existence are active within you. You're what we call my body and my heart and my mind. And so it's not any amount of learning information or by trying that we're going to be tap into that infinite wisdom, but by being. That's why we say being is the true knowing. But it's knowing without mind. It's a deeper knowing than mind. It's not the conviction of the mind. It's the direct knowing. We have a few questions today. Question 1. Why do we chant Om 5 times? Good question. So we have 5 bodies. There's 3 bodies and 5 bodies. First, I guess the 3 bodies. First is you have the gross body. Gross body is all this meat and the bones and the tissue and phlegm and pus and blood and guts and everything. This is gross body. Gross means gross or fine, not like yucky. Not like Mr. Yuck from the other day. Second level of body is subtle body. Subtle body is the meridians, the nadis, the chakras. These are energetic channels that are kind of in like within and all around also. The prana is moving in the subtle body. All these different things. Memory is stored in the subtle body. Emotions are stored in the subtle body. Everything in the subtle body. Then you have the causal body. Causal body, a little difficult to understand. So, inside of the seed, you have already the whole pattern for the seed. This is the causal body. The causal body is existing in one point, but it's the pattern with which everything is produced. So it's kind of beyond. Then we have the 5 bodies. So 5 bodies. First body is the annamaya kosha, the meat body. That's all the blood and all the bones and everything. Second body is pranamaya kosha. Prana is the life force. Life force is not just your breath. It's also, again, the hormones in your blood. It's the energy. It's what's growing in the plants. Well, the plants have this as well. Everything is not just humans, but plants as well. So you have the matter, then you have the energy with which matter is growing, and then you have manomaya kosha, is the mental body, which is the senses, sense perception, and organization of sense perception. It's not the thinking mind, it's a mechanical mind. It's like a computer, just parsing information, seeing things, objects, just like memory, everything, mechanical mind. So, anamaya, physical body, energy body or breath body, mental body, then 2 more bodies. Next one is vijnanamaya kosha, means the wisdom body. And this is where buddhi, this is where that like instinct and intuition and inner knowing, the soul's knowing, gets from this body. And then the final body is anandamaya kosha, the bliss body. And this is the most ethereal body. It's like the light body, essentially the light body. And so these are inside in the chakras. There's 7 chakras. We could chant 7 times, but many traditions, my guru Krinamayama is chanting 5 times. Not going to do it 5 times. It's like different stages of filtration when you're filtering water. The Brita water filter has 7 stages, right? So, but we're only doing 5. Does everybody need dharma? Can someone live without dharma? Every molecule, everything has everything. Nothing has dharma. Everything is dharma. Right? Everything is an interconnected flow. This oneness. Everything has a rhythm. Dharma is the rhythm. Dharma is your lessons you've come to learn in this lifetime. So everything is everyone is playing its part. Every molecule is playing its part. Every individual, every ant is playing its part. We have our individual dharma. We have the collective dharma. And basically, if you don't live your dharma, then the dharma becomes karma. This is the teaching. You have the opportunity, right? You have the opportunity to fulfill your dharma. As you don't fulfill your dharma, then it becomes karma. Then you get your ass kicked. it's just as good. I mean, you still get the learning, but better to live in a dharmic way means in harmony, in tune with your soul is a dharma, with your pattern, with your rhythm of what you've come to do in this lifetime. And then you'll have more ease because you're burning it in dharma instead of having to burn it in karma. I'm just learning about these things. So, yes, impossible to not have a dharma because it's not a personal thing. It's like the electromagnetic field, the pattern, in the seed, the pattern's already there. In your chromosomes, in the blood, every molecule, cell, everything has this dharma. So dharma is not like a special thing that certain people get dharma. Everyone has their dharma. And your family's part of that. Again, the choice is if you embrace life and what you're given, then it's dharma. If you fight it, then it becomes karma. And still you get what you need. Both of them are grace. Karma is grace and dharma is grace. It doesn't matter, ultimately. But that's why we recommend stay in shape. When you're in shape, then you can dance with it. Family, work, health, all these things, anyway.
But if you can't change your dharma, I say, can you change it if you're stuck in a situation?
Why would you? Well, being stuck in a situation might not be your dharma. Your dharma is for you to live, to embody, to embrace, to discover. The dharma is like your purpose. But like I'm always saying, the purpose is here and now. Your purpose is in this moment. Now, if something is stuck, then it's more like karma. Right, so can you change the karma? Sometimes you have to just go through it too. What you can do is you can change yourself. You change your vibration. When you change your vibration, then everything else changes. So that's the only way. You change your vibration. That's why the only ones who can do that are the sages and enlightened masters. That's why being around the sages and enlightened masters, then it's like it's like, again, changing the dial on the radio. Like once some story, just old story, then you change the radio, and then it's a different channel. So the only way to anyway, through dharma, through karma, we're going to learn our lessons. So the main focus is learning the lessons. We have to learn the lessons. It's not about finding a detour to get around the karma. It's not escaping the karma because it's unpleasant. Right? That's also not going to work. It will come from a different direction. Whatever we need to live, we're going to live that. So what we needed to do is to brace ourselves, to train ourselves to have the strength and the forbearance to be able to dance with it gracefully. And then and that's why being true to oneself, being authentic, being real, then we no longer allow situations that are not conducive to us or others to perpetuate. But it's whether you get it through dharma or karma, it's good. These are the lessons, this is what we come for. There are things you can do like wearing certain colors or wearing gemstones or wearing rudraksha or fasting or donating like different colored. Again, it all has to do with the planets, planetary influence. But in the end, the cleansing that's happening through karma is of the highest order. Question. Struggling to keep in the zone of light first thing waking up. How to change this for the future? Zone of light. Struggling to keep is Ru zone of light. In view zone of light. Well, I mean, it's the same. If one is struggling to play the violin, what you need to do is just keep picking it up. Eventually, it will click in. You know, some people it's quicker, some people it takes longer. But what we're talking about is just to be in tune with yourself. When you're in tune, right, then naturally you feel grounded and connected and alive. When you take out the trash, right? When you empty like you have dirty water in a cup, you empty the cup, then immediately the cup is filled with light because it's empty. So there's no effort in going looking for the light. All that we need to do is to empty yourself again and again, because anything in there is trash. Right? We're living in a pile of trash. Especially the negative stuff. Then we're like swimming in that. And so the gold, the gems, the essence, right? That's not like an object to hold on to. It's a way of life. And so whatever. So the work we need is simply to clean your body, heart, and mind. Tune your body, heart, and mind, and then life will take care of the rest. That's the working hypothesis, right? Is it true or not? You have to find out. It sounds good. It sounds reasonable. So far, everything sounds reasonable to me. You know, I've experienced this. I've been experiencing this continuously. You know, but is it reproducible? You know, there's a certain way to train playing basketball. There's a certain way to train play volleyball. There's a certain way to train for gymnastics and for equestrian. There's a certain way. There's a certain way to hold a knife and chop your vegetables. If you do the necessary training, then inevitably you will at least improve a little bit your technique, your maybe you don't become the greatest, polo player in the world, but you become more yourself, more authentic, more playful, more real. So the teaching is quite simple, and the practice is simple. The challenge is really on time management, is what I see. Because we're living in a false sense of time, and because Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and because it seems that the real determinant of value, what has value, is achievements in the world, approval of others, and money. And so we're chasing those things continuously because at the deep level, those are the guiding, the deep desire. But nobody really has a deep desire to be present or to experience peace or happiness. Everyone says it, but it's real half-assed, because if it were true, then we would spend time to invest in that. But all the time goes to these other things, and there's nothing left over, just the dregs, And so we have to investigate and redefine the priorities. We don't have to do away with the others, but at least presence, must have the value. Otherwise, it's just an afterthought. But for sure, that's the only way to be stable. Because people have all the money, the 401k, all the plans and everything, but no presence. And so no security, always in fear. What if I lose it? What if the war? Will I get sick and die? Everything. Without presence, then you will be continuously insecure. Infinitely insecure in everything. Because, newsflash, right? Everyone's going to die. Everything we know is going to be destroyed. Every speck of all of it. And so it's true. So so the security does not lie in freezing our brains, right? And then being miserable, talking heads for another 1,000 years, surrounded by miserable sycophants, right? It lies in presence. Sounds reasonable. How, if this lifestyle of living for over there is the paramount lifestyle of the developed capitalist modern world, can we connect with and be useful to those stuck in that trance? I feel isolated and gaslit as I present my truth to those living in the trance. So what we have to see is that this worldview, this sickness, is a very, very recent development, actually. Like 40, 50, 100 years, maybe 200 years or something like that. But mostly post electricity and canned foods and all this thing. So this way of being terribly disconnected from everything and utterly confused which way is which, it's very, very recent, and only human beings are experiencing this. Human beings and animals in captivity. And if we were to be honest and compare ourselves to anything, the behaviors we're exhibiting are most similar to animals in captivity. I mean, the way our skin, our eating habits, our sleeping habits, our whatever, everything. And it's not a judgment thing, it's just like patterns, right? We have to recognize these patterns and then kind of decide how you want to dance this lifetime. You know what I mean? You have this capacity. And so that's why this rewilding is so important. So the best thing we can do for everyone, for everything, for ourselves, is to radically, authentically be yourself. Be wild, be your true, wild, natural, silly, playful, whatever self, and that will give others permission to be themselves. That's the only thing. This is just a momentary phase in evolution. This is obviously not the golden age. It actually is the dark ages. And everybody, we're very proud of our inventions, and everything is so convenient. We have everything at the touch of a button, and we couldn't be more miserable. What a joke. No, that's the best joke. God makes the best jokes. You see, and so this is not permanent. All these come on, look at what are we doing with our energy? Where are the energy and resources of this planet going right now? Come on. How many billions are they burning in these obscene ways, We want this to go on forever? So it's good. Everything has its time frame and phase. So if you're going to Bali in the rainy season, you want to pack a raincoat. Right? If you're going to be somewhere in the hot season, you bring some sunscreen or a sun hat or something. So when you're in the Kali Yuga, in the dark ages, and everything is so shiny and beautiful on the surface and so rotten and empty on the inside, you have to put your UV goggles on or whatever. It's part of the, like put the COVID mask and thing or whatever, but it's like for your soul, you just protect your soul and you find community. There are communities, there's beautiful communities with beautiful people that are waking up all over. So as much as the mainstream stream is in that way, there's a lot of people, young people, old people, that are that are not, they're stepping out of that trance, or that are, and so this is kind of the missionary work. It's not about, convincing people that their life is wrong and whatever, but by being a model, by carrying that vibration in your cells, in your breath, through the practice, then you become like a conduit, a channel of that peace. It's not, you don't not even say anything, it just flows with you in your wake, because you're imbued with that. You can't fake that. You can't fake it. Just say empty, pretty words and something that doesn't have the energy, it doesn't have the... But if you marinate yourself in that beauty and love and wisdom every day, then it's just going to be oozing from you unconsciously. What are the benefits of the root lock and eye lock? So your spine, you have a spine. The spine is the central channel of life. And it starts from your tailbone and it ends at the crown of your head, right? And there's a few major junction points within your spine. Like at the center of your brain, midbrain, and heart center, navel center, base of your spine. And because of gravity, right, gravity is pulling down on you all the time, physically, externally, but also internally. And it's affecting the pressure, the way you breathe, affecting your digestion. Your whole rhythm is like you have this anti-gravity resistance at a cellular level. And so we are working to raise the energy in the spine. So by blocking off and pumping the energy from the base of your spine, this keeps it from leaking down and goes up. And by locking the eyes up, then it shoots the energy up. So this is inner alchemy. There's a few others also but these are main ones. One with the tongue, there's the tongue lock. We curl the tongue and stick it back on your soft palate. I combine with the eyes and the root lock. There's the neck lock, there's the navel lock. There's different locks. These are all part of the yoga alchemy. These are most important because this is how you're able to balance and unblock the different channels. Balance the elements, unblock these channels, and raise the energy up. When the energy's up, because you feel really alive and you feel light. And so it's possible you can cultivate that. The same, like, if you play basketball enough or you paint enough, then as soon as you pick up the paintbrush, you're just in the zone. Boom. There's not even a thought. You're not worried about messing up or am I doing it right? No. You have to train to that point where it becomes habit to be grounded, to be yourself. You're so much yourself you wouldn't even think to gauge the other person's opinion of what you're doing something, because you're just like the flower, just fully blossoming into itself. It's not worried about the other flowers or about whoever might see it or something, because it's fully being itself without any idea of what that is, without any concept, without a description, without a list or something. This is freedom. To be yourself. First, to forget yourself. Only if you forget yourself can you be yourself. The self that you're remembering is not yourself. That's the thing. The self that you think you are, the story that you have about yourself is not yourself. Same like the story that you have about the past is not the past. It's the little tiny slither of fragment of thing that I saw and remember. It's a little distortion of a fragment of nothing. The past is everything that's happened everywhere in every moment. The past is everything everywhere. I capture a little piece and I weave it together based on some certain salient moments, but my idea of the past is not the past, and it never will be. In the same way, my idea of myself is not myself. So you're free from knowing. You can't know what that is. You don't, it's not a obituary. It's infinite, and so then you can relax. It's like a relief. You know yourself by being yourself. But it even surprises you. This is the real spontaneous. I remember when I heard that from Osho. He said, when you're really spontaneous, it means you don't even know what's going to happen next. You don't even know what you're doing next. Last question. Oh no, second to last. But this one I answered. What is dharma? Dharma is this moment also. We shouldn't think, again, it's like the purpose of life. We always think it's some over somewhere else. Like my dharma is somewhere else. No, my dharma is right now, right this moment. To be fully radically myself. To play my part gracefully and beautifully, or sloppily, however it goes, is my dharma. And with training, you can be good. You can become really good at being in your dharma. You can do it. You can train to be in the dharma, in your dharma. It means that's the meaning of in tune. Actually, that's when I said to be in tune. That means in tune with your dharma. But then it sounds like a thing. See, it's not. There's no dharma that you're tuning with. When you're in tune with yourself, then that is your dharma. You see? It's not like, oh my God, where's the dharma? Am I in tune with it? When you're at home in yourself, then everything you do is your dharma or your karma. But actually, when you're in tune, everything you do is your dharma. When you're out of tune, everything you do is your karma. But both are perfect. Both are perfect. Exactly what's needed. It's unacceptable. We can't accept it. That's fun. I can have an entire internal conversation with myself about how much I really need health insurance while in Soham and envisioning the ball of light traveling up and down my spine with every inhale, exhale. In other words, there are several layers to my thinking, and I want to be at one level, that of Soham, an image of the ball and light. How, in addition to practice, do we reduce those layers of thought from several to one? Wonderful, beautiful question. So that's the practice, right? That's the practice. It's like how to, when you're playing tennis, how to focus on the ball and then to pull your racket back properly such that the timing of how you move your hand and the angle that you're hitting it is going to hit the ball with the proper propulsion in the right direction. There's no way to think that through like a computer. It's through experience. You have to experience. So one, just to set the intention of being at that one level is needed. Generally we're running through life like multitasking on berserker mode, berserko. And so first thing is like to create that space, to create a groove every day in which one is attempting, not even attempting, Because even if during the meditation I feel like I'm not at that level, but you are. And the thing is that, like you said, the waves are there. Even if you go to the bottom of the ocean, the waves are still moving on the surface of the ocean. So just ignore it. You have to learn to ignore your own mind. The same way you ignore a TV on in the background, the same way you ignore a spoiled, bratty child who's whining and complaining all the time and is all the time wrong. You ignore it. Ignore your own mind. Up until this point, we've been obsessing about our mind. And it's if you had a friend who is as wrong and is annoying and is mean-spirited as your own mind, you would never listen to them. So you have to cultivate the practice of ignore your mind, ignore it. Okay, the thoughts are now ignored, Soham. Eventually, the vibration inside, the pressure of your breath will stabilize, and it's like you go into another, it's like a warp, a time warp, a portal. It's not by the thinking, it's all part of the process. Even the mind spinning in that way, it's needed. It creates a certain friction. That friction will resolve itself eventually when your breath stabilizes, your mind will disappear. So just have that intention of that depth. This is what we're cultivating. We're cultivating the roots. We're cultivating the depth. We're cultivating that poise. So you see, do it, practice for 100 days. By 100 days, you'll know if your roots are growing, if you have more poise. Less poser and more a poiser. But don't be poisoned. No, if you're out of tune, then you're like poison for everyone around you. Really. When you're living out of tune, you become a poison especially for your friends and loved ones, because it's like whatever's inside is going to come out. So it's kind of our responsibility to make the inside awesome, and then that is what will come out. So it's all poise. It takes time. We've been very much on the superficial level, but we're also existing on the deep level, just unaware. And so by directing the attention more and more to the deep level, you get all these gifts are waiting for you. All these beautiful treasures and gifts and everything are inside of you, more than anything you can imagine. More than beautiful gemstones and luxurious food and all these things. The experience of being at home at the deep level, connected with your soul, your body, heart, and mind in tune. This is no words for that. So keep up the practice. And have the firm conviction that I will experience that deep level. You're already at the deep level too. It's not like you have to go discover a new continent and set up a whole civilization. You just have to shift your focus inward and be at home in yourself. It's really very simple. It's crazy actually how simple it is. But because of the momentum that we have, and because of the programming, we've been programmed very strongly to believe that we're not good enough, and that we have to do something in order to be good enough, and that other people will then let us know that we're good enough, and that when that happens, then we will be happy and peaceful. And it's unfortunately, none of that is true. We were fed on these Disney stories where things work, it all works out and it's going to be like that. And so we're waiting, we're projecting these narratives that just don't exist. And deep down we know it, and so that's the worst kind of miserable, when we're having to fake it, and because you've invested so much in it, but deep down you know that it's not going to work out. And so that's why we recommend the present moment. Because that's what is real. Past is not sure. Is that real or not? Because again, I have my past, you have your past, everything. So which one is correct? Even my own past keeps changing, can't be correct. So past is not real. Is the future real? Well, my idea of the future is not the future. It's just a little fragment of nothing based on some calculations and probability. So actually, future also is not real. So what's left? This present moment. Present moment is not a time. Present moment is more a space. So we'll conclude with a moment of silence. Come back to center. Sit up tall. Find your center again and again until it becomes a challenge not to be centered. Breathing in your spine. Inhale deeply.